Before he was called Rusty, before he had a name that meant anything, he was just a number in a long line of unwanted dogs. No one remembered his first home, only that it ended in flames. He had barely survived, singe marks on his coat, a permanent fear of thunder, and eyes that always looked back over his shoulder. He had no voice, but in his silence there was a storm. And somewhere deep inside, the fire never left him. Sarah Bennett had never believed in fate, but after losing her husband to a hit and run just 3 days before Christmas, she began to feel like fate didn't believe in her either. Her home in Marlow Creek had once been a place of laughter, filled with the clatter of coffee mugs and her husband's off-key singing as he cooked Sunday breakfast. Now it was a silent house, echoing with the ghost of dreams that never got their ending. She wasn't just grieving, she was drowning. And yet, every morning she rose. Because of Lily. On one particularly cold, wet Thursday afternoon, Sarah drove through the drizzle without a plan. Lily cooed from the back seat. And when she saw the old wooden sign reading, Marlow County Animal Shelter, something inside her whispered, "Go in." The shelter smelled like bleach and hope. Barking echoed down long halls lined with steel cages. Puppies yipped, older dogs stared. And then she saw him. Rusty, sitting in the back, silent, watching. Been here 2 years. He's shy, scared of storms. Survived a fire before he got to us. Hard to adopt out a dog with trauma. Sarah knelt beside the bars. Rusty didn't bark. He just tilted his head slightly, as if to say, "I see your pain." She adopted him on the spot. The first few weeks were quiet. Rusty barely made a sound. He followed Sarah around the house, always a few steps behind, never pushing for attention, just watching. At night, he curled up beside Lily's crib and slept with one eye open. Sometimes, during thunderstorms, Rusty would shake. Not a mild tremble, but full body quaking, eyes wide, teeth clenched, hiding beneath the couch. Sarah sat with him those nights, whispering softly, trying to reach whatever haunted corners of his memory. One night, in the middle of a storm, Sarah dozed off on the floor beside him. She dreamt of flames, of a burning house, of a small boy clutching Rusty's neck, screaming for help. She woke in tears. Sarah found Michael's old journal in a box in the attic. Flipping through the pages was like slicing open old wounds, but also like discovering pieces of him she'd never known. One entry stood out.
"Lily's not even born yet, and I already want to get her a dog. Every kid should grow up with a 4-legged protector, a mutt, one of the ones nobody wants. Because those dogs, they've got hearts like gold."
Sarah sobbed. Rusty came over and laid his head in her lap. Michael would have loved Rusty, no doubt about it.
"We got the dog, Mike."
The neighborhood was old, the wiring older, and that night the storm didn't just bring rain, it brought sparks. Sarah was asleep, so was Lily. Rusty heard it first, the faint crackle, the scent of smoke curling under the nursery door. He barked, once, twice, loud enough to wake Sarah. The hallway was already hazy, smoke, heat. Sarah panicked. She grabbed Lily, coughing, trying to make it to the stairs. But a beam had fallen. The exit was blocked. Rusty charged ahead, barking madly. He led them to the back room, to the window Michael had always meant to fix. Sarah kicked it open, passed Lily through. But before she could climb out, flames. Rusty lunged, grabbed her sleeve, pulled with every ounce of strength. They made it. And then the roof caved in behind them. The fire was on every news channel. Rescue dog saves single mom and baby. Rusty sat on the porch, wrapped in a fire blanket, smoke-blackened and dazed. Sarah held him like he was her own child. The community rallied, donations poured in. But more than that, people saw Rusty. Not just a dog, a hero, a flame walker who refused to be burned again. And deep in the rubble, they found a metal box. Inside, Michael's will, letters, keys to a safety deposit box. Sarah opened it days later. Inside was a note. "For you and Lily, I invested everything. If you're reading this, I didn't make it, but I wanted to make sure you could." Michael had left her millions, secret investments, a life he never got to live. Sarah cried. Rusty licked her tears. They rebuilt, not just a house, but a home for others. A dog rescue named Ashes and Angels. Years passed, Lily grew, Rusty aged. And one day, when a storm rolled in and a young stray barked from the woods, Lily, now 12, ran into the rain.
"We don't leave anyone behind,"
she said, just like Rusty taught her. In a mansion across town, another story was taking shape. Chloe, just 14, had been in a wheelchair since a tragic accident at 5. Her mother had remarried a man named Victor Harlan, a powerful businessman with a cold smile and darker intentions. Victor didn't love Chloe. He tolerated her. To him, she was a reminder of a past he never chose. When Chloe's mother passed away unexpectedly, Victor was named guardian. But he didn't want that job. He wanted her gone. That's when he bought the dog. A huge trained attack mastiff named Goliath. On the surface, a guard dog, but in truth, a weapon. Victor whispered cruel commands late at night, teaching Goliath aggression using Chloe's scent. He planned an accident, a day when no one would question a tragedy. But fate had other ideas. Chloe escaped that day. Victor left the gate open. Goliath charged. But Rusty was there. Sarah had brought Lily to the same park, the one Victor had chosen. Rusty sensed it before anyone else. Goliath's growl, Chloe's scream. In a flash of fur and fury, Rusty intercepted. Teeth clashed, fur flew. Goliath was bigger, stronger. But Rusty had something else, purpose. He fought like fire reborn, and when it was done, Goliath ran. Rusty collapsed, panting. Chloe was saved. Victor was arrested. Investigations uncovered his intentions, hidden footage, orders to trainers, everything. Chloe moved in with Sarah and Lily, 3 souls healed by a dog who once had nothing. Rusty passed a year later, but they built a statue of him in the rescue garden. The plaque reads, "He walked through fire again and again, not to survive, but to save." Every year, thousands of shelter animals are overlooked, souls waiting for a second chance, just like Rusty. If this story moves you, consider visiting your local shelter. Volunteer, adopt, share their stories. Hero might be sitting behind those metal bars, waiting not just to be rescued, but to rescue you in return.